Alright, well I got a little bit of a problem here. My two grow beds aren't exactly draining equally. I have been playing around with this to test it out, and I have actually flooded this thing a little bit more to make it a little more apparent and obvious for the camera. But as you can see, I actually got the water level almost right up to the rim there before. But it's not draining as fast as the one on the right here is. So my theory is the two caps that I have to be like a root guard have maneuvered around where they're actually now touching each other and minimizing the amount of water flow that goes through it. I'll have to get in there and take a look. I wouldn't consider it heart surgery for the system, but it will be a bit of a pain because I'd have to get in there and dig that out and see what's up. So not really fun, but that's all I'm gonna do on my weekend and see what it's like. If I'm lucky, if it's what I think it is, I just need to put some spacers in there, and maybe while I'm in there, maybe put some more holes or something, I don't know, but something I'll have to find out tomorrow. But on another side note, it's a good opportunity to get a look at this kale plant that's been growing. Look how hardy and big it is. The rosemary has been growing off in many different directions, as I don't know what it wants. And the broccoli plant. This one here is a bit of a concern. I don't know how big it's going to get before it can even start producing its flower. So I'm thinking chances are I'm going to pull that at some point. But for now, it's going to stay there. As you can see in the back there a little bit, I got some mint that's starting to really do well. The onions don't seem to have changed much. Maybe there's a lot going on down below, but I don't know much about planting onions, so we'll find out. I don't know what those are. Those are something. And because it's been having some flooding issues and whatever in the last day or so, I've noticed, they haven't really been doing too well, or as well as they have been in the past. And then this is a spinach plant that's kind of it was looking good. I mean, the water issues that I'm having are definitely a contributing factor into the yeah, so I'm not too sure what that is, but that is growing well. Alright, so my little overflow thing that you see here that goes into the bottom of the tank to suck water from beneath seems to be working rather well. I mean, it doesn't get 100% of the stuff out of the tank, but it's definitely reducing the amount of maintenance I need to put into it. I think what I will want to do is maybe put some more holes in there just to see if it'll be better, but I haven't had any real issues with the way it is right now, so that's a good thing. I like it. So I've started excavation on my little project here. I'm trying to figure out why this first grow bed here isn't draining. I pruned back some of the kale plant to make it easier for me, so I'll probably use that as a salad later tonight. I also pulled my bay leaf plant, and I'm going to get rid of it. As you can see, it's got a pretty extensive root system. However, in the excavation, I haven't actually seen any roots of this get too close to the drain, so I don't think this has been the problem. But I can also tell you this is only some of the roots, as I kind of ripped a lot of it out. But yeah, look how far that dangles down, eh? Like, we're talking... we're talking like the root system's probably twice as long as the plant, easily. And there's still a lot of dead roots, or not dead roots because I just ripped them, but there's still a lot of roots in there too. Alright, well, doing some heavy excavation here. Had to remove all the plants in the bed. I'm going to get rid of that bay leaf plant because its root structure was really invasive. I was quite surprised for the little thing that it was. It had way more roots than it had tree. But I do know is I would suggest for these indoor aquaponic systems, trying to find plants that have smaller root systems, things that don't want to go all over the bed. I will have to look into that and see what are good options and what are bad options, but for now... Alright, this is where I really wish I had a second helper to do the camera work while I'm in here touching stuff. What I noticed when I pulled off that cap is it had some, it was resisting. There's a whole lot of root issues going on there, so I'm going to clean that up. That should solve that, and like I said earlier, keep in mind with what plants, and hopefully, I don't know, I may have to re-engineer what I'm doing there. Alright, so I got everything all back together here again. Everything's looking okay, I guess, is probably the best word I could use. everything's been poked at, and so it's gonna probably take some time for them to reestablish themselves. Some lessons learned was, no bay leaf. Bay leaf was really what screwed this whole thing. Although I must admit this broccoli plant is giving me some reasons to be concerned with. I'm going to see what happens over the next while, and if it's a problem, I will know that it's just something I'll have to get rid of. The rosemary, probably, I'm not seeing any problems with this bucket, so I'm not going to touch it until I need to, but I will be watching it, and when I see the signs that, there could be some issues, I'll know what it is and what I need to do to solve it. One little concern that I have is I may have to rethink my root guard. Obviously, it did not work. And I kind of thought, I didn't think it was bulletproof, but I didn't think it was going to be a problem. It's just hard to tell because the bay leaf was really, its root system, it went everywhere. So I'm thinking, I just got to think about plants that have shallower roots bases, and it'll be just fine. So that's what I'm leaning on. Just got to pick my plants better. All part of this learning curve. I did do some maintenance with the tank here. I drilled more holes in that. I didn't think I needed more holes, but I figured it's something that I wanted to do anyway, just for the shits and giggles of it. Otherwise speaking, this has been working rather quite well, and I'm quite pleased with it. It's something I will actually want to continue to improve upon in other future builds, actually. I've got some ideas on that I'll cover some other day. Alright, so I've been quite impressed with this. This has worked quite well for me. It's basically does a really good job at filtering out a lot of the solid fish waste. Now mind you, that solid fish waste isn't the worst thing in the world, but it does grow faster than the system can manage. I don't have any earthworms in here to, break them down. I got rid of my bay leaf plant, and I couldn't just throw it into the compost. I figured, why not plant it somewhere and see what happens. I did a little bit of research online to make sure this wasn't like some invasive plant or something like that. And I couldn't find anything, but if somebody does have something, I'll come back and I'll get rid of it. I don't want to cause any problems. But, I planted this out in this beautiful scenery area, it's got a lakefront area, but it's off the path, so it shouldn't really be bothered, and should get enough sunlight, and I figure it's as good as a place as any. So we'll see what happens.